the organ harvesters of the border zone. Episode 4, The Market That Never Sleeps. If you want to understand why Unit 14 exists, why anyone would spend millions on unmarked vans, fake clinics, mobile surgical teams, and intakes that never make it into any public database, you need to understand the marketplace that feeds them. Not the legal one, not the hospital wait lists, not the tearful families hoping for a call in the middle of the night, not the surgeons whose hands shake every time an organ arrives late or damaged. No dash. I mean the other market, the one that doesn't have waiting lists, the one where the only requirement is wealth, and where the only guarantee is silence. Organ trafficking isn't a myth. Governments won't say that out loud, but they also won't deny it directly. They use soft language, phrases like unsanctioned transplant tourism, unregulated procurement pathways, anomalous donation sources. You have to admire the creativity. People go missing. Bodies are found cut open with alarming precision. Entire villages lose young adults overnight. And some committee somewhere calls it an anomaly. If you dig deep enough into public health statistics, you find something curious. Every year, across multiple wealthy nations, the number of transplants performed is slightly higher than the number of documented donations. Not by much, never enough to draw headlines, just enough for someone to quietly ask, where did the extra hearts come from? The extra corneas? The extra kidneys? The reports call them supplemental sources. Supplemental to what, exactly? There was an email thread on the flash drive I received, buried deep, encrypted, mislabeled as holiday schedule. It included a list of organ requests, nearly all from private clinics. Heart, age 18 to 25, male preferred. Liver, high viability, urgent. Kidneys, matched set, any-sex. Pancreas, low-risk surgical window. Full harvest package, expedited. That last one made me choke on my tea. Full harvest package. A person reduced to a bundle deal. The thread includes negotiations. Brokers fighting over turnaround time. A doctor arguing that a liver should cost more if taken from a living donor because survival improves warm extraction rates. A reply from someone marked only as C, the same initial from Unit 14's procurement files. Premium clients expect fresh. If your facility cannot guarantee viable warm transfers, we'll redirect to Contract Site B. Contract Site B. I'll let you imagine what that means. You're probably wondering what kind of people pay for organs this way. That's the uncomfortable part. Because it isn't just the cartoonishly evil, not just oligarchs with private armies, not just cartel lords or aging despots. Some of the payments, carefully hidden behind 6 layers of shell companies, come from biotech investors, retired politicians, corporate executives, philanthropists, individuals who appear smiling on magazine covers, university donors, high-profile charity board members, the sort of people who lecture the rest of us about ethics. Unit 14 didn't invent this market. They simply professionalized it. The next piece of the puzzle came from a whistleblower who used a cafeteria Wi-Fi network to send me an audio clip. I don't know his name. His email was deleted minutes after he used it. He never contacted me again. The clip was short, 30 seconds. A phone recording, voices echoing in a hallway tiled with expensive acoustics. It begins with a woman saying, "The donor is prepped. Client confirmed payment. They want confirmation of consciousness window." A man replies, "Tell them we maintained neural activity until transfer. They pay more when they believe it was ethical. Put it in the report. Consciousness window." Think about that phrase. Not sedation window, not recovery window, consciousness. Meaning the donor was awake long enough for someone to categorize that as a feature, in the same way a chef might describe a wine as having notes of oak. Another voice, a younger man, asks something he probably shouldn't have. You can hear the hesitation in his tone. Doesn't that hurt them? A pause. Footsteps. Someone shuts a metal door. Then the older man answers, "They're not patients. They're source material. Don't get emotional. The recording cuts there. I don't think it was meant to." You know what surprised me most during this research? Not the cruelty. Cruelty is predictable. Cruelty scales with opportunity. What surprised me was the bureaucracy. This isn't chaos. This isn't desperate criminals with scalpels and ice coolers. This is a structure, a supply chain. There are collection agents, medical auditors, logistic coordinators, financial liaisons, surgical contractors, client handlers, disposal supervisors. There are forms. There are quotas. There are case numbers. There are compliance officers who exist solely to erase noncompliance. One document, a redacted operations memo, mentioned something that made me pause. Annual review, donor stability program. Donor stability program. Those three words do not belong together. The memo outlines key performance indicators: reduced spoilage incidents, lower pre-extraction fatalities, extended viability windows through controlled oxygenation protocols, decreased donor resistance. I read that last one twice. Decreased donor resistance. A polite way of saying, make them compliant. Willing? Unwilling? It doesn't matter, just compliant. But the darkest detail wasn't in the memos or the emails. It was in the financial reports. Unit 14's revenue didn't come from one country or even one continent. Payments came from Dubai, Singapore, Zurich, Toronto, Sydney, Tel Aviv, London, and several small islands known for banking secrecy. This is global. This is coordinated, and someone out there is making sure the machine runs without interruption. No matter how many vans end up in ditches, no matter how many survivors like Luis crawl out with missing organs and shaky testimonies. The market cannot sleep because the clients don't wait. A heart has a time window. A kidney has a shelf life. A liver deteriorates the moment it leaves the body. Every delay is money lost. Every ethical question is time wasted. So the machine eliminates both. There was one last document in the financial folder, emailed internally from a CFO to the board of directors, marked strictly confidential. It reads, client demand rising, inventory insufficient, requesting expansion authorization for additional procurement routes. Recommend activating collectors. Collectors. That word again. Always the same context. always tied to expansion, always appearing just before bodies start showing up in places they shouldn't be. It told me something important. Unit 14 doesn't just harvest organs. They scale. They adjust. They operate like a corporation adapting to increased demand with contractors, infrastructure, logistics, and somewhere out there, a van in a ditch isn't an accident. It's a supply chain failure, the kind someone will correct with brutal efficiency. In the next episode, we'll step inside one of the places these operations used when things went off-book: a farmhouse, a basement, and a recording that someone somewhere never meant to be heard. Not by the police, not by the public, and certainly not by you.